Check the oil. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Today's project is going to be starting up at the end of the road, going back 500 feet. We've got to clean all this mess up. I'm not going to video a whole lot of it because it's going to be pretty monotonous. I'm going to start with the bigger stuff, stumps, grab them, haul them back to my depository location. I get everything warmed up. I am so gonna unalive that gopher. Right here is the hole that I'm gonna bring everything to. I've got plenty of room to keep pushing it back. You can see what I'm contending with. When I walk on it, I don't leave too much of an impression, but I can feel suction on my boot. Winter weather in the mountains. There she is. Hopefully they're in here. Nope. Oh, yep. It's just one right there. As I've been working around here, I've noticed that my grapple is loosening up on the grabs that I was making. That was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed was that. I'm just going to try to tighten it, and if it doesn't tighten real easy, I'm going to assume there's an O-ring in there that's blowing out. That is why I had to run by the truck shop and grab my wrench set, because this is the only set I've got that's got wrenches big enough to use on that. Good morning, Eli. Look how he shows his teeth. Eli, show me your teeth. He acts like he's gonna bite every time. First time he smiled at me, kind of scared me. Oh, man. Oh, I hadn't been here 5 minutes. You got me dirty. All right, turn your head and cough. Everything's normal. Okay, enough of the fooling around. 3/4 isn't big enough. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. I think we've got a blown O-ring. Let's check it out. Good times. At least it's nice, a nice warm 35 degrees to be doing this. We'll get to the bottom of it. You betcha. Hopefully it's an O-ring and not something else. Shouldn't be. I should probably clean that. Clean all that junk off. Don't need that getting down in the system, do we? Alright. Now. Oh. Must be a bear. Eli likes to chase bears. Oh. Oh. The culprit. That's nice and clean. Now I got you. Look at this, folks. I don't know how well y'all are gonna be able to see this. You can see right there's where it blew out. You know, most of the time you're like, great, I'm out in the middle of nowhere with no O-rings. Not Todd. I'm not about that life anymore. I went down to the local hydraulics shop a few months ago after this happened, and I bought one of these. It's a hydraulic fittings O-ring kit. It's got every spot labeled, and I want you to looky here. Look at that. Ain't that something? Every O-ring known to man. And the cool thing is it's got part numbers, so when I start running low on one, I can just call them and order them. So now we just gotta figure out which one's which. I think it's one of these, I believe. The thing I love is my little screwdriver that's got every type of head you can imagine in it. I'll find me a pointy one. That'll work right there. Just something to extract that O-ring. Let's see if it'll come out willingly. Oh yeah, that thing's toast. I'll just have to break it. That's a tiny O-ring. I was way off. Okay. Spritz. I don't want to get too much of that. I don't want to get too much of that brake cleaner in my system. Now time to compare and contrast. Okay, that's little bitty. Let's see here. Which one could it be? I bet might be a number 4. That looks pretty close to me. Let's check. Now sometimes they'll look a little too big until you mash them in to the spot. Okay, looks like it was a number 4 Boss fitting. Clean that surface off real good. That's as close as I could get. So, oh, look at that. I almost didn't see that. See how bad that thing was blown out. So what I'm gonna do, this one actually looked a little small as far as the inside diameter of the O-ring, but when I tighten this down, it'll probably mash it flat. Feels like it's doing good anyway. We'll know here in the first few minutes of using this joker if that's going to fix it, won't we? Alright, let me get another wrench here. You really don't have to tighten these too tight. Just maybe a extra little ugga-dugga on there. If one of y'all would want to load up and bring me some coffee, that'd be great. That'd be dandy. Let's see if I can raise this up. Yeah, I can see it there. Let's see if it sprays first thing. Put some pressure to it. Doesn't look like it's it looks like it's gonna hold all right. Let's go grab some brush and see if it holds pressure. do is I'll lift it up, make sure I'm not going to be dragging a whole lot. It's going to go up under the tracks and get pulled out of my grapple. If I can carry it up high like that, then I'll just carry it and go forward. If I've got stuff I'm dragging, I'll just drive backwards the whole way. I'll probably fish that piece of wood out, because that's a good piece of oak. Let's run some more. We don't have any leakage yet, and I'm not having to bump the thumb control to retighten the grapple's grip like I was yesterday. Therefore, for right now, I feel like we've repaired it. What I have not repaired is I really thought I had more fuel. I guess when my fuel tank clicked off on my truck's pump yesterday, it wasn't because the machine was full. It was because the transfer tank was empty. So we'll have to run into town after a while and get some more fuel. Look how bad this ground is pumping. This was rock solid before the freezes and thaws. This is what breaks roads up in the mountains. But we're going to fix that. This is what I'm talking about, dragging stuff. Now if I drove forward, that thing would come right under my track at some point and get pushed in the mud, and it'd be just a pain. Having to do this one-handed. So all I'm going to do is watch my monitor and drive backwards this whole way, and I can actually go pretty fast. Some of you will remember the old school days before we had backup cameras, and some machines still don't have these backup cameras. What you'd have to do is slightly be off track where you could see where you've been running and just watch out the side and drive backwards. You may have a mirror if you're lucky, but you wouldn't count on it. I just stepped out of the machine, and it's actually gotten colder this morning. We've got a pretty good cold snap moving through. Hey, look at this. See, it'll almost, when you step on one side, it'll puff the other side back up. Two things, there's air in that ground and there's moisture. Oh, see there? And we haven't had rain in, is this 2 or 3 days? To explain that further, what happened was, we went out of town on Christmas break, and I had all of this torn up, and it was fluffed and wasn't compacted. And I ran out of time that day. I just straight ran out of time, and we had 2 days of solid rain, and without the road being graded like it is out there, water wouldn't run off the sides. It just soaked in. There was no trench to cut across for water drain or anything. And this right here is why it is so important that you get your drainage right on these roads. Now, if you're new to this and you go into a situation like that, you may think, oh no, I'm gonna have to dig every bit of this out. And if you wanted to gravel it immediately, yeah, you would. You'd have to dig all this wet stuff out, backfill it with freshly dug material that's dry. Luckily, we have time. To fix this, I've got 4 days of working time to get all this stuff moved and thrown off. Then I'm gonna go through and grade the road on its final grade, and I'm gonna cut trenches where the pipes are gonna go. That way, any rain that comes through is gonna run off and run through those trenches, just like it would when we have pipes in the ground. But having those open trenches is gonna allow all of that stuff to start drying out, and this pumping is that moisture trying to come out. So it's kind of a good thing. Right now I'm just going through the usual warm-ups. This is actually the next day from the last few clips. And I'm trying to get my hydraulic fluid warmed up, and then this is my water temperature. I can already feel heat coming out, so I'd be okay just to drive this thing, but before I start moving heavy material, I want to get that up to operating temperatures a little bit better. When I first started looking at building this particular road, I've done another project for this customer. When we started looking at this, one of the first things I found out, and unless I dreamed it, I asked the customer, I said, is this north facing, or which way is north? Because okay, so our road is running this way. Okay, that's 12 o'clock, we're gonna swing around to 9 o'clock. If that was north facing, that would mean that most of this road would not get sunlight during the winter months. Therefore, after it starts getting cold and the wet season starts, it won't dry, no matter what. Unless it just doesn't rain or snow at all. If that had been the case, I would have told them we need to wait till spring to even attempt it. Luckily, it's not north facing. It's not south facing either. That is ideal if it's a south facing. This is kind of in between, but it's in between enough, and we're up toward the crest of the mountain enough that it gets sunlight when it's not cloudy like this pretty much all day. Well, how about that? 251 hours, and this is the first regen that I've known this machine to go through. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. If you guys saw it in another video, drop it in the comments and remind me. Just go ahead and rake this stuff up so I don't pound it into my good road bed. For those who are wondering, this 289 D3 is a great machine for doing this kind of work. A 299 obviously would be better because it's heavier, but this thing, as far as speed goes, you can really move on. Maybe that one won't drag. I'll just have to carry this one high where I can act. Uh-oh, see what I mean? Oh, man. We'll get it when we come back. But you see what I'm talking about. See all them little pieces? If I'd driven backwards, like I was describing earlier, that wouldn't happen. But I got complacent. It's not the end of the world, obviously. Now I've got a better grab on it. Kick the afterburners on. Some will be wondering, wouldn't it be quicker to use the dump truck? Well, number one, the dump truck's in the shop getting, let's see, tires, a new crossbar for the tarp, it broke. I'd probably just wear, and cold weather didn't help. And one, let's see. Pretty good list of stuff. Pretty good list of stuff to get done. And two, if you want to bring your dump truck up here, I will load it. But on this stuff right here, I'm telling you, it's like wet Play-Doh. Anything other than a track machine is going to be hard pressed to run around in here. And it is pumping. I'm going to keep saying it. This stuff is pumping so much. There's a lot of moisture in here coming out. Fuel station, and of course there's a McDonald's nearby. Tragically, laying in the parking lot was a pigeon, obviously murdered. No doubt foul play was involved. That's bad. Things are going very well for us on this project, folks. The only difference was originally they were calling for snow showers and frozen mix today, which is Friday. And I thought, oh boy, I might have to get this road graded out real nice. Well, then they changed the forecast, so I've focused on moving brush. And on my way back from getting fuel, it starts flurrying. Good times. This is my absolute favorite app, WeatherBug. Looks like sunshine. That's accurate. Today for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. But I've only got 3 working days before snow showers move in, potentially. Looks like temperatures highs in the low 40s, 30s, lows, mid 20s. Okay, I can work with that. A lot of the issue is not whether it's snow or rain or whatever. It's just the fact that even if it's wrong as far as what kind of precipitation, it's usually right. We usually do get precipitation of some kind on the days it says we're going to get it. Hopefully these flurries just or just that and doesn't amount to anything. I don't need snow right now. Call me a liar and argue with me, but McDonald's has the best coffee. Hands down. I'm a firm believer in it. I don't know. It's an awful lot of frozen material there, and that's snow, and we are right there. So it's snowing in Mars Hill right now. Looks like it's snowing pretty good at the state line. Let's put this in motion and see which way it's flowing. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to get a little clipper there, but very little, I think, if any. If you brush your hair, brush your teeth, some even brush your beard, you might as well brush your banks. On the return trip, we'll see how it did. This area through here, there's a lot of rock. That brush helped to kind of knock it loose a little bit, make it look a little more natural anyway. This right through here slicked up real good. Oh yeah. Wow, that was a day of it, friends. A long day. Well, I about fell over. We made it to the end of the road. I'm very pleased. I've got all these trees pulled out with the excavator to where I can just grab the root ball with the grapple and drag them back down to my dump location. Not going to get there today, but it'll be ready for me next week. All these are lined up for being pulled out. This whole road, and I actually ended up clearing about from the road's edge 10 feet into the woods line where all that root mat material and brush and stuff, grabbed every bit of it, staged it at the beginning of the road. I had 2 dump locations. The one that's halfway, I haven't moved. I'm meeting with my customer tomorrow probably and discuss if he wants me to take time to move that pile. It'd probably take me a full another 2 days to move it. We'll have to see. We'll do a little bit of a time lapse. We'll ride this whole road. It won't take just maybe 30 seconds to a minute in your time watching. I've had an issue develop at the beginning of the road that we need to address really quick before we end the video. Check it out. All day long, each time I've walked through this spot, it's gotten wetter. Not really pumping worse, but just wetter. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This is the lowest area on the entire road. And walking through here, I noticed I started hearing actual squishing. Let me find it. You can see right here, water is actually starting to come up through there. I don't think that there's a spring here. I think all that water is just settling to the lowest point. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to rake and rough all this area up. I really don't think that we're going to have like considerable precipitation. So I feel good about roughing this up, and that way it can dry the next 2 days over the weekend. And also it'll help that turn loose of that water, evaporate. And I'm also going to dig a little trench here to hopefully start draining and speed things up a little bit. Sorry, the last bit of that, I had you guys so far away from the machine digging the trench. I didn't want to pull, I had you guys mounted on the skid steer, and I didn't want to pull it down here on my freshly roughed up ground just to recompact it. It won't dry out too good if that's the case. Right here's my relief trench. So any water leaching out should flow right out of there, and this will probably end up being the location for one of the culvert pipes. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode, and maybe on the next episode we'll finally catch that pesky gopher. Love you guys. See you on the next one. Yeah, getting a few flurries.